It's true though, you could be a memorable teacher. Maybe some of the teachers that you really remember is you really remember them because they were really a jerk or something. But in general, if you want to be like, maybe you'll remember that, hey, this teacher was really mean, right? But you won't remember much about them. Maybe later on you'll forget their name. But you'll always remember that the teachers who were really nice to you. So being nice, you know, sometimes it might be stressful being a teacher. Things won't go according to your plans. Maybe the students are unruly. But I guarantee you that if you be nice to them, even the ones that might have been a little mean to you later on, they will come around and you know, they'll grow on you. So, second part, activities. Being active. We talked before about kinesthetics, and I talked about muscle memory, especially with younger students. Being involved with them. If we just lecture to you all day, or if you lecture straight to your students, you're going to fall asleep, right? So, activities, playing games. We're going to go through many different games that you could play, and I'm sure that you have some ideas. We'll talk more about that. Curriculum. Always have a plan. You should make a study plan going into it, because otherwise, if you don't have a plan, you'll be standing in front of the students like, well, hi guys. Like, today I'm going to teach you, I don't know, like, kind of thing. So have a plan for when you go up there, what you're going to talk about for that day. Always have a backup plan. Just like in life, things won't always go according to plan, and the plans will change. So always have, if you can't talk about this today, then we'll talk about something else. And we could, if the students are like really interested in something, maybe you could change the topic, divert yourself a bit, and get the students, you know, keep them interested. So that's the key part to being a memorable teacher. So, memorable teachers, some more aspects under being nice, being professionalism, keeping, just go through it real fast. Okay. Yeah, interest, not like being interesting, but being interested in your students' well-being, cultural awareness, patience, clarity, being open-minded, variety and balance, encouraging and praising your students. Okay, so students expect the teachers to be professionals, and the other teachers that you work with and administrators of the school that you end up teaching at, they won't expect you to be a fully professional teacher, but if you act professionally, you will highly impress them, and it will look good for you. And so under interest, picking a...
Got your different experience in my campus, because students from all over the world in our campus.
So even like earlier with you, like not to put you on the spot, but you understand earlier, like we do things that make you feel uncomfortable. And so on. But one thing you have to realize is, like, while you're in Thailand, when you are in different countries, be culturally aware. Well, that's how it is. It isn't like in my country, and that's okay. It's different, but you know, just being able to understand at least, right? So next. Okay. So being patient, I guarantee you, if you do teach some of the younger students at your schools, you might have seen it in the video, like they're cute and everything, but sometimes they will literally be like climbing up the walls like monkeys. And I guarantee you, like that's what you will face if you face the younger students. And even the older students will have students who maybe are troublemakers and so on. That's part of being a teacher, and you're trying to teach and educate everyone. So being patient is key. Do not lose your temper, especially in Thailand. Part of cultural awareness in Thailand is people do not show when they're upset in Thailand generally. Even if someone like absolutely hates you or like they're annoyed with you, they'll smile at you. Okay, yeah. Same thing with your host family. Sometimes they might. We've had cases where host families were called upon to like drive many hours into Bangkok, pick up an EP, and then go back. And the host family was upset, but they didn't actually, you know, show it to the EP, to the intern. So that's an aspect of Thailand and Thai people that you just have to realize. Try not to lose your temper, you know, especially with students, right? That's part of being a good teacher, being a good memorable teacher. So, all right, moving on. Clarity. Okay, open-mindedness. Being open-minded to new ideas. Like I said, if you have a plan, Do not expect to always adhere to the plan. Be open-minded. It's a skill that not only helps in being a good teacher, but throughout life. Something that you really have to have. So clarity. Being able to be clear in what you talk about so that people understand. When you are dealing with students who have no idea what you're saying sometimes, maybe you have to rely on body gestures, pictures, different types of teaching methods, right? So visual, maybe you won't have a projector and be able to use PowerPoint. You will have a chalkboard, so being able to draw, bringing in pictures, flashcards for your students, right? Parts of different teaching methods that we talked about in part 1 of this session. So being able to be clear, talking with them in English, maybe your English might be too fast with them, so speaking slow, right? Okay, next. Variety and balance. Using different teaching methods, we talked about the various ones, visual, hearing, so on. Balance of all of those to keep all students interested in what you're saying. Because if they're not interested, then they're not going to learn anything. Okay. And next? Yeah. Okay. Encouragement and praise. You know, when they do well, tell them that they're doing well. But even if they're not doing well, just tell them, you know, like, I believe in you. I know you can do better, kind of thing. You don't ever want your kids to give up. Some of them might be like, oh, English is too hard. Like, I don't know, or maybe they're shy. Just keep talking to them. In fact, if you see that they don't want to practice their English, you should pay special attention to that student to get them, and give them encouragement and give them praise. Because people, even if they're underperforming, you'll find often that it's a matter of not that students are dumb or whatever. In fact, many of the students are highly, they're really smart. They're really smart kids. You'll find that out. They're not dumb, and if you talk to them like they're intelligent, they're smart, and they're fully capable, they just need to work harder. You'll find that they rise up to the level. So, yeah, awards, accomplishments, so on. We talked about earlier percentage. I don't want to go through all of them. You should just try to remember that a vast majority of what people actually learn is they learn by doing. So games and stuff that they're involved in. So activities in class. Let's talk with some of you. I know I asked Jing-Ying during the interview. So before we go through all of these, and we'll go through more, and some of them are already up there, but what are some games, some activities that you have planned already? Let's hear some. Do you want it? I know you have some, so go ahead and tell me some ideas.
I have prepared the 2 games. One is you make them practice the words. For example, we give them a category like the fruit, and then they will name the fruit one by one. For example, the first one will see apple, and the next one see another kind of fruit. So during this process, they will practice the words like the fruit. They will play, have fun, and will learn the English words at the same time. And another way is to use their imagination. Yes?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No.
KJ.
Keep going. I'm sorry. I'm
Me too.
And another way is perhaps we can just give them a shape. Then make them to use their imagination to give more words that they learn. For example, perhaps a circle. And circle, this is the first word they learn. And then next, perhaps they will give you example as the watermelon, because it is also has the circle shape. Then the second word is another one, perhaps the moon or the sun in the sky. Yeah, this kind of series. And after that, perhaps you can also list other shapes like the triangle. And triangle, what you can think? Pizza. Pizza, yeah, good.
Pizza slice.
Yes, pizza slice and triangle.
Cheese.
Cheese, good. That is the example I listed. You say the pizza cheese is with the triangle one, and another thing is after these two, we can combine them together. You just imagine how can you get after combining a triangle and a circle.
Okay.
A triangle and a circle.
Oh, it's a house.
Yeah, ice cream. Yeah, and house
house.
is also very good. And perhaps a clown, the head of the clown. Or in our kindergarten, we also draw the fish. the circle is the fish eye and the triangle is the body.
Yeah,
so that
exactly.
the same way. So they play fun and use their imagination and learn English as well. Yeah.
So
So
cool.
she has a very detailed idea. So maybe very quickly, an idea that you have. If you don't have any ideas, talk about how you might be more specific about some of the ones
had
that
one game too. It's called Name, Place, Animal, Thing. Yeah, so we should play this
Yeah.
similarly.
Okay.
Really popular.
Okay, cool, cool. Same idea? Same idea? Same?
You know the game?
Maybe you? Do you
Yeah, I
what?
just-
Like for teaching them colors, I thought like there's a song called "I See Something Blue."
Yeah.
It's like a kindergarten song, so I thought we could like play it. I have like downloaded it, so I'll like play it and then be like everyone stand in a circle, and then like we'll be like, okay, now I see something blue, I see something, and we sing the song, and then I give them a break, and everyone should go and point to something blue, like in the class, and then point out to something orange. Then it goes on. So like one class will be like a color session where they understand colors. Yeah. And the next time, the next day, like for revision or something, I'll bring something and I'll show a picture and we're like, what color is this? And they'll be like orange or blue or whatever.
Awesome, awesome. So that Isabella, any ideas?
I think like according to her, I think maybe I can like them to think about some
เนี่ย
words
คือเขาสอนทุก
with
ชั้น
the
เลยป่ะ
same
หรือว่า
first
เราบอก
letter.
เขาว่า
Like water, watermelon or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, maybe a word makes just like water and melon and watermelon. Yeah,
Watermelon
that's
juice.
that's something.
Okay, so let's go through this real fast. So activities, we already talked about some different types of games. We'll get more specific later. Songs, you already know. Drawing, dancing, especially games that get them moving. Like Simon says, touch your, like for different body parts, Simon says, right? Touch your nose, touch your head, kind of thing. Cards, crosswords, guessing, story building, matching like pictures and words, playing with clay, making animals, whatever, puppets, role plays, and so on. We already explained that. Alright, next. Alright, so examples of games. Simon says we already talked about hangman. Do you know hangman?
Yeah.
Right? So you have the hangman, and there's a word that they have to guess. If they if they call out letters, and if they miss a letter or if they guess the wrong word, then you draw part of the body until they have a whole man. So then hit the word, guess what, draw something, you draw something, they have to guess the word in English. So, okay. Alright, example of vocabulary card as well. Alright, so on. An example of a game that you might play. Alright, next. Okay, so based on student level, right? Primary school, maybe you start out with basic vocabulary. Games, composing sentences. Kids love games, but you could play games at all levels, and they love to compete. So you could play them off each other. Middle school, maybe get more dialogue and public presentations, but this being Thailand, and maybe if the English level is quite poor, you might also have to deal with basic vocabulary and sentence composition within middle school. Also high school, discussion and debating, if they're able to debate. But, at least what you should do is try and get them like basic, engage them in dialogue. Like, are they able to have a discussion with you, or at least by the time you leave, they're able to recognize certain English words and have basic conversation about like themselves, things like that. So, curriculum. We talked about needing a lesson plan. Curriculum would be in there. It could be as complicated or as basic as you want, but definitely do have a plan. Right. Some more teacher tips. Be a role model. Like we said, be professional. Act like someone that the students would emulate, right? Be energetic and lively. If you're up there teaching, like, yesterday I went out at parties and that kind of thing, right? You want to be energetic and lively. Be fair to every student. You might have favorites, but don't treat them like
Yeah, exactly.
It's really bad. Be kind but strict at the same time. Here they have punishments. Like I said, teachers are generally respected, but don't let them go easy on you just because you're a foreigner teacher. And like I said, they might be energetic and so on. If they get unruly, you still have command if you find that it's very difficult, you could tell when the teachers come in, they will literally come in with a giant stick and crack their knuckle. So like, so if you have trouble, you know, just you could talk with your fellow Thai teachers. Control your mood, just temper, so on. Don't hold grudges, and always maintain your smile. Keep it alive. All right, so let's start about from the bottom. The easiest things to talk about. Myself and I. So myself and I start with the human body, feelings, colors, shapes, careers, and music. Have them talking about themselves, because that's really interesting to them when they are able to express themselves and express what their interests are. So describing things that represent them, maybe their hair color, eye color, like different colors, right? Their favorite color, draw their room, bed, house, things that they own, things that they like. Then drawing their happy place, their dreams, so on. Their likes and dislikes, obviously. I like swimming, I like so on, I like music, that kind of thing. Talking about things that they enjoy and talking about things that they dislike. So, alright, next. Then next, maybe later on you'll move into
Will they be provided like with paper, color pencils and all that?
it depends on the school. I would ask the school if you have any teaching materials available. If
It's
not,
like if we wanted to like draw stuff.
yeah, I'm pretty sure paper they'll have a notebook, but if they're really poor, they may or may not have color pencils. You have to see. Yeah. So it depends on.
But usually they have,
usually,
yeah, you can talk with your Thai teacher. Usually they have in the room, or maybe like every student hold it by themselves.
Every student would have color pencils.
Yeah, okay, so second or third week, maybe moving on to others and being able to describe their family and friends, maybe days and months, sports, activities, and food, like their favorite activities and food. And then you get into active games, being able to sing and dance, treasure hunt sports, some more examples. Okay? And then later on, the last few weeks, the world, talking about different countries, more adjectives, nature. We talk about different cultures, country presentation. Here it talks about discrimination and talking about like more cultural awareness, right? Talking about how people are different. Maybe it might be a little too advanced for kids, but for like high school and stuff, might be good. Did you have a question?
Yeah, like how do you make them realize about countries and stuff?
Okay,
Like
like you maybe dedicate one day to talking about your culture and how things in your country might be different from Thailand, but also things that are the same. You could maybe have that towards the end when you learn more about Thailand and Thai culture. So, but yeah, so talk about nature and so on and so forth. So that's all right. Also, other things. Let's just go through on the left real fast. Talking about directions, buildings and cities, clothes, music, theater, dancing, and others. Then we talk about different examples on the right, if you want a quick picture or whatever of that. But okay, so.
We will also send the slides to you at the end.
Oh yeah, we will send the slides here. Okay.
Slides?
Yeah, the PowerPoint slides. We'll send them.
Okay.
We'll email them to you. Okay. So English Day preparation, right? There will be performances. Participants, the preparation that you have to do and the outcome that you want. Remember, what you get out of this experience depends a lot, depends pretty much all on what you put in. So, English Day is like pretty much the last day that you'll be able to see where your students changed from when you came.
Yeah, you can see in your job description already that we will do like English Day. You know what, we will have like English Day for review. That will inform you maybe like it's like your student performance like from the last period, like they do for low pay, like it's no wise and kind of like that, to make it low pay and make them the short description from like that, the short role pay, some kind like that. So make them like show that what is your performance, that or like go up a lot or some kind like that, show.
Thanks. All right. So, any questions? No. Okay. Is that the end of that part two? Okay. So,
Open the last video.
no. Like just talk about like or not the first day, but earlier today. sit down, just there. But like when we first started today, right? The whole part of what truly makes a memorable teacher, and there was the quotes about maybe you forget about like the dates and everything, right? But you remember like you remember the moment. I think to clarify that quote, like at least how I think is, you will forget. You will forget the dates. You might even forget what the teacher taught you, right? But one thing that you will always remember about teachers, or in general the memorable teachers, you will always remember how they made you feel. And at least when the U.S., when we do research into different education systems and so on, the absolute best thing that a teacher can do, besides actually educate students, the best education, the best teachers is they are the ones that teach the students to teach themselves. And so one thing that you can do, and it will be easier for you as a foreigner coming to Thailand, even if you might think, oh, 6 weeks is so short, like how can I actually teach them anything or whatever, and you might even come out just being like, oh, I only taught them like some words and so on. But one thing that Bindia talked about yesterday, actually, maybe depending on which schools you go to, I don't know, I haven't been to each of the schools that you are going to, but some of the students, you'll find that, like Bindia said yesterday, they don't think that they can go anywhere with their education. They think that when I grow up, I'm going to have to be a taxi driver. When I grow up, I'm going to have to be a farmer. I had that with my students. When I talked to the students about what they wanted to be when they grew up, and I got so many answers like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a politician, I want to lead the country, I want to do all these amazing things. And then I asked them some of the older students, what do you expect to do? They're just like, well, I'm going to be a farmer. I'm just going to grow rice. Right? One thing that, I always bag on about the U.S. The best part about being American is you always get to talk shit about America. But the one thing that we always pride ourselves on is, regardless of your poverty level in the U.S., of how poor you are, your background, is we believe that you have the capability to become what you want to be. You just have to put the work into it. And I feel like that's something that you could impart to your kids. Is there's in this new era of globalization, of internet, of global travel, and so on. All of you are here, and you're here. You're going to teach, but you're also going to learn a lot. And part of what I hope that you all learn is that you have the ability to impart to these children an idea. And it is, to me, is one of the most important ideas, which is with hard work, and if they do their best, then they can become something that maybe they've never dreamed of. Or they'll end up some place that they wouldn't have ever dreamt that they end up. Because maybe a few years ago, you never would have thought that you would have been an English teacher in Thailand, right? Just imagine where you'll be a few years from now, where your lives will take you.
I mean, maybe we can describe our own experiences to them.
The communication level will be tough, but
try our best to do it.
Yeah,
to draw pictures before and now, make a comparison.
Yeah, and I guarantee you that that's something that the children will remember, because I could tell you, by the end of the semester, I actually felt pretty miserable when I was teaching, because I taught at 3 different schools, with some schools like poor rice farmers. Other students were political refugees, hill tribe students with no legal status in Thailand, and some of them were political dissidents, also oppressed minorities from Myanmar, where they had to run away from the military or basically be enslaved. The Hmong people from Vietnam who supported the U.S. during the Vietnam War, and then following the U.S. Leaving Vietnam, their people were massacred, and so they came west to some of them to Cambodia, where they faced the Cambodian genocide, and then they came further west. The lucky ones ended up in Thailand, and some of them escaped to the U.S. as political refugees. So maybe your background, like you have Thai students, maybe some of them are lucky refugees as well. It depends on where you end up, right? But the thing is that the students, they come from all kinds of different backgrounds, and you have this unique opportunity to change lives and make a difference, and that's what we talk about in AIESEC. We're like, yeah, we want to change the world, and then you're like, well, how do I actually do that? But
Just do that.
Yeah,
One day.
this is your chance, and you'll get more chances. But when we talk about like the journey that we make, right? This is, you get to be, you get a good chance to, with these students, like you're their teacher, they will look up to you, and I guarantee you, like you saw the videos. I could show you mine. If you look at pictures back from when I first started my Facebook, I was 20 back then. Ooh. That was 7 years ago. But yeah, it's the students, like, you're a teacher to them, but you'll be an inspiration. They will, if you do your job well, they will love you, they will miss you. There will be tears when you leave. So, this is a great chance for you, and I hope you have fun while you're in Thailand. I know, like I took you saw like international students, and then you will see how the Thais look as well. So it's I don't know, any other questions? Because like this is your chance. I was a teacher. Like I know, like we in the prep camp, we try our best to give you the tools so that you can go out there and do your best, change lives, have an awesome experience. Like I said, I think I ended up learning more from my students than I taught. That's part of the experience.
How did you start your classes?
How did I start them? So the first day, we went in and we talked, the first day was basically an assessment. We wanted to see how much English capabilities the student had, and we found out in pretty much all of our classes, this was our schools in particular, because there weren't any, some schools from Sawasdee, Thailand Project 6, they had like foreign teachers, they were actually pretty well off or something. It depends, like there are some schools that are really well off and some schools that are like poor and their teachers don't know English and they're teaching them, the students English. I had one of those schools, and so they had like, they could recite to you the alphabet, but when it came to a conversation, it was, good morning, teacher. So I'd be like, hello. They'd be like, hello. And that was the end of it. There was no other English. So, so we taught them, the first thing we ended up was we would start the class with, we taught them a different one to make them more interested in learning English. We were like, hey, what's up? And we'd be like, and they would be like, what's up, man? Or like, what's up? Like, how are you? And we taught them that kind of slang, that kind of thing to get them like upbeat, not like, good morning, teacher. Oh, we're forced to learn English, so we'll recite the alphabet, but we don't know anything else. You get them actually, so like the other things we started getting them into immediately was kind of like this, even though I didn't have these slides back then. It was things that they were interested in, describing themselves, like, oh, this kid loves like running. Another student loved bug catching. It was like straight out Pokemon. One day he had a dragonfly, and dragonfly, he tied it to a piece of string, and the dragonfly was buzzing around. He had it kind of like a balloon. And I was like, that's crazy stuff. And so I taught him the word dragonfly. And so it was like, yeah. So stuff like that. If you get them interested in learning English and wanting to learn more, right? That's one thing that you can impart upon them. Not just the whole cultural awareness, the global, something that I'll talk about more is AIESEC mission. Going into the whole, what's it called, lead, right? Yeah, lead. like talk more about the story that I told you a bit yesterday. Sorry, you're gonna kind of get dumped
It's
into
fine.
it.
You can tell me later. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. If you're interested, just come talk to me. But basically, it's AIESEC's mission. Part of it is the first day it started after World War II, and it's about global cultural awareness because World War II was devastating, and the European nations that founded AIESEC wanted people to learn more about different cultures, about different people. And one of the things you learn about traveling all over the world that I talked about yesterday is you learn it's not so much about the countries, that people are so different in different countries, and that things about the people, but you learn that people have, everywhere you go, people kind of have the same hopes, the same dreams. Everyone wants to be happy, right? Yeah. And you'll find that even though you disagree about politics, about religion, about like skin color or whatever, if deep down you talk to people and you can get along with them, you could find things that you have in common with them. And so when you're talking with the students, right, just like cultural awareness, the fact that they learn a bit about your country, because maybe they've never met someone from India before, or they might be closer to Chinese, but you could still talk to them about like things that you like about Chinese culture, right? Yeah, great, awesome. So yeah, those kind of things, and so the students, maybe they'll grow up because part of the issue we have in Thailand right now is the political situation, and even ties on Thai violence and so on, right? You cannot change the world by just expecting the world to change, right? And you could sit on your ass and you could just complain about it, but if you actually, the whole of changing hearts, changing minds, one of my favorite movies, just to go off on a small tangent, but I promise I'll tie it up. One of my favorite movies is the movie Inception. Have you seen it? Yeah. Inception? Yeah. Have you seen Inception? Inception. With Leonardo DiCaprio. He goes inside dreams.
Go
Never
inside
seen
a
it?
dream.
No, but I heard about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So part of the main, just to explain it real fast for you, is the main character goes inside dreams, and he finds that the main plot of the story is he wants to change this guy's idea by going inside his dream. And even though he can't completely control the person's mind that he's going inside of their dream, he wants to change an idea that they have. So he puts in an idea that will end up changing the person's mind.
Okay, so it's a psychological.
Yeah, kind of, but it's like action movie too. There's a lot of action. It's an interesting movie. So it's one of my favorite movies, and I find that that's the interesting thing, that when you think about the movie Inception, is the guy just changes the idea a little bit,
Yeah, but
but
finally
the person changes their mind, their decision. So when you talk to your kids, even if you feel like you're always thinking about how to change the world, right? You start with one person, and you give them an idea. You inspire, and you teach them an idea of this cultural awareness of, also the idea of the education being key, of the types of things that they can become, the fact that they can in fact become what they want to be if they work hard, maybe. And it is hard, but if they educate themselves, that they're not forced to become farmers or whatever, or just be stuck doing what they think that they're stuck doing, then that's part of what you can do as teacher. So you can make that difference. Yeah. Any other questions? You could come talk to me. I think all of you have my contact info now, except her. How much time do we have now? I think
Half an hour.
Half an hour? Oh, we got so much time. We have in our video, right?
Yeah.
Show them video, and then we'll just.
You can go to the university.
Huh?